Hey my lovelies, welcome back to another episode of the Euro Cooking Canuck. Once again, I hope you're all doing well, and guys, thanks so much for spending a part of your day with me. Guys, on today's segment of Memories of Macedonia, we're going to be making something called Pinerlji so Sirenje, and what that basically is a cheese bread roll. You'll see what I mean once we get going. Guys, this is really delicious, and it's also very versatile as opposed to what you put in it. We'll get more into that as we start cooking. So guys, without further ado, let's get in the kitchen and make these amazing Macedonian cheese rolls. Bye! Guys, welcome to the kitchen countertop. I will put all of the amounts I'm using below in the description bar. Just click show more. So in my bowl here, I obviously have some flour, and I have about a teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm going to mix this around. And we're making the dough, obviously, for our cheese rolls. So this is just plain flour, guys. You don't need to use any fancy flours. You could if you want, but you don't have to. Right. To which I'm going to add some yeast that I put into a bowl of warm water with a little bit of sugar to feed it. And you don't really, this is instant yeast, guys. You really don't have to do this, but I do in case the yeast is dead. I'll know, then I won't waste a whole batch. So, in that's gonna go all of it. Additionally, I also have some oil here, which is different for this recipe, so oil goes in. And I also have some whole milk here. You can use 2% or any milk of your choice. I don't know if I'm going to use the whole quantity, so I'm just going to add a little bit now, and I'll see if I need to add more. It all depends, guys, on your flour, your temperature, the humidity in the air, your altitude. So mix this in. As I can tell right away, I'm going to need more of that liquid. So go ahead and add the milk. Not all of it. And I'm going to continue. So guys, you're going to continue like this until your dough comes together, and I'll bring you back then. Okay guys, so my dough has just come together. What I'm going to do is lightly flour my board. Turn my dough out onto it. And what I'm going to do now is knead this, guys, until I have a soft, supple dough. You've seen me do it before. Could take up to 15 minutes. So get your workout. I'll bring you back when it's all done. That's all done, guys. My dough is soft, supple. It bounces back. Perfect. So I'm going to place it back in the bowl, which I've placed just a couple of drops of olive oil. And I'm going to just spin my dough around in that to ensure no crust and make sure it rises nicely. Going to put this to bed. Clean towel over top. Keep it in a warm spot for anywhere between a half hour to an hour. Alright guys, it's been about a half hour, 45 minutes. Our dough has risen significantly, so I'm going to turn it out. Punch it down a bit. Let's remove this bowl. Okay. It's nice and soft. If your dough is still sticky, you can add some flour to it, but this seems to be fine. Right, what we want to do now is to divide our dough into 5 equal portions. So I've tried to make an even rectangle here, guys. And I mean, you can measure it, but go by eye. Let's see. One would be there, 2, 3, and well, let's say 5 there. All right, best you can. Try and divide your dough. And I mean, if you have extra in one and not enough in the other, you can always move things around. Okay, so what you want to do with your individual dough pieces is you're going to form these into a ball just by stretching the top into the bottom like so. And then just setting them aside, and continue with all 5, and then I'll bring you back. So I'm just doing the last ball here, guys. Doesn't take long. And as you can see, they're all nicely done up. Like I said, if you have more in one and not enough in the other, simply take some of the dough, reform it. It's not a big deal. And then just add it to the other ball that needs it. Like so. At this point, you don't have to be too precise or fancy, guys. It doesn't matter. Alright, so we have our dough balls laid out. I'll show you what we do with one of them at a time. So before you proceed with the next step with the dough, you're going to cover them, let them rest for a bit, and have a couple of things prepared and ready. What I have done is I've already melted some butter, and you can also use margarine. So get that ready. Get your pan lined with grease-proof paper, parchment paper. I've also given it a bit of a brush for good measure with butter. And then you want to get your cheese filling prepared. And guys, here's where it is diverse. If you like, in addition to the cheese, you can also add spinach, you can add leeks, you can add sorrel, any type of green that you prefer, even scallions, green onions, peppers if you wanted. So what I have here is ricotta, and I have some sirenje, like feta. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start preparing the cheese filling by carefully smashing the two together. Now this is a cow's milk sirenje or feta. You can use whatever you prefer, sheep, cow, goat, combination, up to you. Try and get a Macedonian feta. If not, you can try a Bulgarian. You don't want a very salty one, and if you get yours in a Balkan shop, ask them what would be the best feta for a pita pie or for bread filling, and they'll help you out that way. So I'm going to get this prepared and mashed up more. Now, as I said, this is not completely very salty. I'm going to add, you don't have to, but just a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt. And if you like, you can add some pepper, black pepper, or even paprika to this, up to you. So I'm going to finish mashing this and I'll bring you back. So guys, I added just a few little grinds of black pepper to mine, and I'm just mashing this up. It's a nice consistency now. It doesn't have to be like a a paste, but mash it up so it's easily spreadable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside in the fridge for a little moment while I clean my counter, and we'll carry on with the dough. Alright guys, I'm just putting a little bit of flour down on my board. Now my rolling pin here. And what we're looking for is a rectangular kind of shape. So go ahead and start rolling your dough out, and you want to roll it out to the length of your baking sheet. So have a look at your baking sheet. Continue rolling. If you need more flour, add more flour. And I'm going to continue rolling this until I get the size I need, and then I'll bring you. Alright guys, I rolled out my bread dough to approximately the length that I need, and if you need to roll it out to make it more wider and rectangular, please do so, because will be rolled. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your melted margarine or butter, don't matter, and paint. So get that on the dough. Again guys, all the amounts I'm using will be below, so you'll know, but anything like this, it's touch and feel, so you may need a little less, you may need a little more. Okay, so that's looking nicely coated, so we'll leave it at that. Then I'm going to get my cheese mixture here. I'm going to plop some on here. And we're going to spread this out. Not too thick, guys. Because again, it's going to be rolled. So I'll continue spreading this out, and when it's done, I'll show what we do. Okay. All spread out best I can. Don't worry about it. Don't fuss too much, guys. And if you notice, I didn't go all the way to the edges. The reason being is because we're now going to roll this. So I'm doing this in an awkward angle. You do this with it in front of you lengthwise, but I'll try and show you. So go ahead and give it a couple of rolls, 2 or 3, like so. All right? Then you're going to go ahead and place it in your pan. Make it fit, it'll work. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you continue with the other 4 in the same fashion. Once you get going, guys, it goes really quick. I'll see you when they're all done. Last one, guys. As I said, once you get going, it goes a lot quicker. All right. Just form it a bit. Tuck in the ends if you need. Don't worry if they're not perfect, guys. I've told you before, you're not a machine and you're not a factory. Okie doke. So now we have all 5 of our cheese rolls in the pan. What you're going to go ahead and do now is lightly coat each one with some butter. Let's been melted, or margarine. Macedonians do use margarine a lot in their cooking. Margarine. Give it a good coat. Use up all of this. And guys, the amounts, as I said below, will be posted. But again, it's a guideline. You may think, oh, no, I need more butter than that, or oh, I think I want more cheese than that. Do it. You want to put leeks in here, spinach, do it. All right, that looks good. Right, that's on. What I've done in advance, while these were initially rising, is I've beaten an egg in some cold water. Just a simple egg wash. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for the moment, and I'll show you what I do with these guys first. Okay guys, I needed to turn the pan around to face me, because what we're going to do now is we're going to cut these into sections into our buns. And we want to do this before we put the egg wash on. So, little buns, even portions. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to make them bigger, be my guest. So I'll continue cutting all of these up. I'll show you what I do with them next. Alright, I got 7 rows, which is what normally there is in the recipe, but like I said guys, you want to make them bigger, by all means go ahead. Go ahead now and add your egg wash now that they're cut. And this will help give them a nice golden brown color as well. Guys, when it comes to the cheese as well, I used ricotta and feta. If you want to use all ricotta or all feta, it's up to you. I just wouldn't use something like a cheddar. It takes away from the flavor, and it's not what this recipe is calling for. And we don't really use a lot of cheddar in Macedonia. We eat it, of course, but not in this pastry. Alright, that's good enough, guys. Last step is we're going to go ahead now and sprinkle on some sesame seeds. So go ahead, and then what I'm going to do once I have the sesame seeds on here is I'm going to cover this again, and we're going to let this proof once more for at least a half an hour. Keep it in a warm spot, guys. Cover it, and we'll see you when this comes out. About 15 minutes before you're going to uncover your cheese rolls, preheat your oven to 180 Celsius. We'll see you when they come back. Alright guys, these have been proofing for about a half hour. So I'm going to take the cloth away. This is going to go into my preheated oven at 180 C. We're going to cook these until they get nice and golden, and we'll bring them out and eat. Hey my friends, these cheese buns have just come out of the oven and they're piping hot. So what I'm going to do now is lightly brush a little bit of butter on top. Which I've melted. And what you're going to want to do is cover these with a cloth so they don't go really, really hard on you. You want them to have a little bit of a bite, but covering them will help. So I'm going to continue coating these with melted butter. I will cover them. I will let them rest until they cool down, and we will have a taste. Hey gang, our Macedonian cheese rolls are all done and ready to eat. They're still a bit warm, but I can't wait. As you can see, they turned out beautiful. Absolutely love it. And they're easy to do, guys. It's not a lot of work. So, let me dig into one of these. Oh, look at that. So soft and Those are amazing. With a nice cup of yogurt drink, or a coffee, or a tursko cafe, or macedonsko cafe, this would be perfect. Maybe with some smoked meat, some salad. Unbelievable. So good. So good, guys. Guys, there'll be a few pics to follow. Thank you for watching. Please comment, please like, please share my video if you like this. Guys, what can I say? Thank you so much. And if you haven't joined me and hit that subscribe button with that little bell, please do so. I'd love to have you with me and have you join me. My social media link will be below as well. I post different things on there as opposed to just my YouTube channel. So come and join me there. Guys, until we meet again, be good to yourself and to each other. Hvala mnogo. Ajde prijetno. Ajde. Ciao.